Hello again, or perhaps, for many of you, just hello. My name is Mark. You know me as the architect of silence. You know me from my videos on quiet resilience, on finding purpose in the aftermath of unexpected storms, on building a life that truly nourishes your soul. But you don't know the full story. Not yet. I thought it was time I shared the beginning of the journey that led me here, to this quiet corner of the internet, where I feel more seen and heard than I ever did in my own life. I was a background player. That's the simplest way to put it. Content to be the steady anchor while the star of the show, my wife Sarah, shone. She was dazzling. Everyone adored her. Her laugh could fill a room, her smile could disarm anyone, and her life, from the outside, was perfectly curated. She had a demanding job, a vibrant social circle, and an effortless grace that made people gravitate towards her. And me? I was the quiet support, the one who made sure the house was running smoothly, the dinner was cooked, the bills were paid. I found a quiet satisfaction in her success, in being the bedrock she stood on. I didn't need the spotlight. I genuinely believed we were a team, a quiet understanding woven into the fabric of our lives. I loved her with a depth that felt almost too big for someone as unassuming as me. I built my entire quiet world around her, brick by carefully placed brick. Then came the crack. It wasn't a sudden explosion, but a slow, insidious erosion. Little things at first. Her phone always out of reach. Late nights at the office that stretched a little too long. A new kind of energy in her step. A lightness that didn't feel like it belonged to us. I tried to dismiss it, to tell myself I was being paranoid, just the quiet man overthinking again. But the unease festered. It became a lump in my throat, a knot in my stomach. I started sleeping less, listening more. The discovery itself was almost anticlimactic in its mundane horror. A burner phone, hidden in the back of a drawer I rarely used. It vibrated one evening, an anonymous text. Curiosity, then dread, then a cold, numbing certainty washed over me as I scrolled through the messages. Her whispered confessions into that device weren't to a friend seeking solace. They were to a lover. Pet names I'd never heard her use for me. Plans for secret getaways. Cruel, dismissive comments about my quiet nature, about our boring life, about me. He's content, really, one message read. He doesn't ask for much, makes it so easy. Easy. That word echoed in my mind, a poisonous symphony. It wasn't just the betrayal of our vows that shattered me. It was the casual cruelty of it all, the dismissal of my very existence, the ease with which she had erased everything I thought we were, the quiet life I cherished, the unwavering support I'd given, the love I'd poured into her. It was all just a convenient stepping stone for her dazzling ascent. I wasn't just cheated on, I was dehumanized. I was a prop in her perfectly curated life, an obstacle to be quietly sidestepped. The man she saw as boring, as a ghost, was now truly invisible, his pain an inconvenience. The days that followed were a blur of internal torment. My world crumbled. I walked through my own house, a stranger in a life I no longer recognized. The easy path, the angry path, would have been confrontation, a shouting match, a public spectacle, tearing her down with harsh words. But that wasn't me. I've always been the quiet one, and a quiet man pushed to his absolute breaking point doesn't always roar. Sometimes he builds a cage. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but they've never met a quiet man who has had his entire existence casually wiped away. I realized then that my revenge couldn't be loud. It had to be meticulous. It had to be targeted at what she valued most, her image, her perfect facade, the adoration she craved from the world. If she thought I was boring, invisible, then I would become something she couldn't ignore. I would become the architect of silence. The idea came to me slowly, like a dark seed sprouting in the wreckage of my soul. I wouldn't seek physical harm. I wouldn't engage in public shaming in the traditional sense, not with accusations shouted from rooftops. My method would be far more insidious, far more devastating to someone like Sarah. It would be a digital deconstruction, a slow, methodical unraveling of her carefully constructed reality, all done without ever uttering her name. I started this channel. It wasn't about vengeance at first, not overtly. It was about healing, about finding my way back from a profound, unnamed sorrow. I began documenting my journey, new hobbies, quiet reflections, the small victories of rebuilding a life that felt authentic to me. I learned to garden, to bake, to find beauty in overlooked corners of the world. My narration was always sincere, heartfelt. I spoke of betrayal, of broken trust, of a devastating discovery that changed everything. I talked about the importance of resilience, of finding inner strength when your world implodes. Every video, every carefully curated post was a brick in a digital wall, slowly suffocating her pristine image. I never named her, I never pointed fingers, but I wove in subtle clues. A wistful comment about a beloved pet that vanished from my life, implying she took it. An old photograph, cropped just so, showing the corner of a room that was unmistakably ours, but with her conspicuously absent. A poignant quote about the truth always finding its way out, positioned over a video of me quietly tending to a wilting plant. These weren't accusations, they were breadcrumbs, pieces of a puzzle I knew my growing audience, with their sharp eyes and compassionate hearts, would instinctively put together. I watched, from a distance of course. I saw the comments on her social media, initially just glowing praise. Then, slowly, subtly, the questions began. Isn't this the same kind of betrayal Mark talks about? You seem to have moved on fast from whatever happened. Her followers, her friends, the world that adored her began to connect the dots. They saw a good man, heartbroken but resilient, rebuilding his life from the ashes of an unspeakable wrong. And they saw her, still shining, still curated, but now with a faint, almost imperceptible shadow clinging to her perfect image. The beauty of it, the horrifying genius of it, is that she can't fight back. How does she defend against a truth that's never spoken? How does she accuse me of slander when I'm simply sharing my healing journey? I'm not attacking her, I'm just living, very publicly. And in my public living, her secrets are quietly, gently, devastatingly exposed. I see the fear in her eyes now when we occasionally cross paths. Not anger, but a deep, gnawing fear. The fear of being seen, truly seen, for the first time. The whispers around her are growing louder. Her perfectly constructed social standing, her career opportunities, her unblemished facade, they are all slowly eroding. All because I chose to heal, openly and honestly, about an unspecified betrayal. This isn't about hatred anymore. It's about balance, about reclaiming my story, about her facing the consequences of her casual cruelty, not because I shouted it, but because I allowed the quiet truth to ripple through the digital world. I am no longer a ghost in my own life. I am seen, I am heard, and the architect of my silence has become the architect of her quiet demise. Welcome to my quiet revolution. And for Sarah, welcome to the slow, public demise of everything she valued most. My journey continues, and I hope you'll continue to walk with me. Thank you for listening.